Christianity has been around for 2,000 years. A lot of stuff has been added to it. A lot of institutions have been added to it in that length of time. Layers have accumulated, just like buildings used to be accumulated over the top of old buildings that were torn down as ages added upon ages. The question that Mark Batterson asks in his book Primal is, when all the superficialities of Christianity today are stripped away, what is the essence of the Christian faith? What is the primal glory of the Christian faith? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind. The second part of a six-part series. And I want to thank Mark Batterson because I am stealing heavily from his material. I say we have books available for you to catch up with that or to follow along. And this summer, a large part of the summer, we're going to be joining the quest for the lost soul of Christianity. We're going to go back in time, underground, so to speak, returning to the primal glory of the Christian faith. We want to search for answers to the question, what is the essence of Christianity? And because this is a quest, we want to live through it, and we want to return home, and we want to be able to tell others about what we have seen and what we've learned. As I said, chief among the truths of our faith is what Jesus called the greatest commandment. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your strength and with all your mind. No, got it wrong, right? So you're already ahead of me. All your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. That's good. And we're going to sing about it too. So we all ought to really know Mark 12, verse 30, by the time we hit the end of this series. Christianity in its most primal form. The great commandment. We've got to be great at the great commandment. It sounds simple, but it really isn't. We want to rediscover this summer what it means to love God with all our heart and mind and soul and strength. Apparently, loving God in just one way is not enough. There are 4 ways, 4 dimensions, 4 elements of love for God. The heart of Christianity, which we call primal compassion. The soul of Christianity, which is called primal wonder. The mind of Christianity, which we can call primal curiosity. And the strength of Christianity, which is called primal energy. We'll talk about those in each of the next 4 weeks. Today, the heart of Christianity. When you hear the word heart, what's the first thing you think of? Okay, the love. Okay. Circulation. Okay. Boom, boom. Yeah, you got this thing in here, this thing that we call the heart. More than a physical pump, although it is that. Circulation. It doesn't just circulate 5,000 quarts of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels, day in and day out. It does more than that. Those statistics just absolutely amaze me. 5,000 quarts of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels, day in and day out. Studies show, in addition to that the heart secretes its own brain-like hormones that kind of creates some cell memories in the heart itself. Studies are being done more and more on heart transplant patients, as those have been done for several decades now. But what scientists are learning is that when a heart transplant recipient receives the heart, they receive more than just a new organ. They receive, in a sense, cellular memories from its donor. Portions of the donor's desires or habits or cravings. That seems a little strange and a little creepy even, perhaps. But studies are showing that is in fact true. And it says exactly what the Lord said to Ezekiel in chapter 36, verse 26. The Lord said to Ezekiel, I'll give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. My friends, nothing compares to the miraculous moment in our lives when we give our heart to Christ. Nothing compares to that moment. There's a spiritual chain reaction that takes place when we do that, when we exchange an old heart for a new heart. And when you give your heart to Christ, you know what you get in return? It's like a heart transplant. You get in return the heart of Christ. If you give your heart to Christ, He gives His heart to you. And those things that are a part of His heart become a part of you. New cravings, new habits, new desires. Just like the scientists are finding with heart transplant patients. You gain a new appreciation for life. Your heart begins to break for the things that break the heart of God. So we're going to be talking about the heart of Christianity today and what that means. In our culture, and in my life and ministry as I look back 32 plus years, it's been minds first. Particularly as I look at my own ministry, minds first before the heart. And that tends to be the way Presbyterians approach the faith as well, through the mind first and then the heart. But I'm learning as the older I get, and I'm learning the more that I read, and I'm learning the more I see other congregations at work, I'm learning that minds remain closed until hearts have been opened. So this all is very important in terms of how we live our lives and how we're affected by our relationship with Christ. The heart of Christianity is giving our hearts to Christ and receiving back His heart as well. So I've got good news and I've got bad news. We're going to do the bad news first, okay? We are not as compassionate as we should be. Now, I need to say that when we give our hearts to Christ and Christ gives His heart to us, His heart is a heart of compassion. We're not as compassionate as we should be. Yes, we're learning and we're growing. We're learning to reach out to each other. We're learning to reach out to our community. Just think of the things we've done this year to show that the heart of Christ is in us. Just think of the things that we have contributed to and been involved with this year. What kinds of things? The earthquake in Haiti happened early on in 2010. And other kinds of disasters through our One Great Hour of Sharing offering have been impacted as well. And we're sending folks and supporting folks going to New Orleans. We're learning to reach out. And we're learning to reach out to other folks in our community through flood relief. See, it's beginning to take its toll. Not only that, but water in our basement and those kinds of flood relief. We have been able to reach out with our money because in many of those situations we aren't physically present. How many of us traveled to Haiti to make a hands-on? Well, that's a little outside our means or what we're capable of doing. So we send our money on ahead to those places where we are unable to be physically present. And some of us have reached out our hands to get folks back in their homes here in the community where we can actually do hands-on kinds of things. We're not as compassionate as we should be. That's the bad news. The good news is you may be a part of the problem now. The good news is you can become part of the solution. That's the good news.